Hey guys, it's Mongolian Mindset, and today we got one of our members with us, and we'll be helping her find her personality type. Anna, you don't have to go into anything you're not comfortable with, but what you do say we will use to find your best fit type. Can you introduce yourself?
Sure. My name's Anna. I work in the data science and analytics industry. Been doing that for a couple of years. I made the career switch about 2 years ago. I was in higher ed before as a teaching assistant. My educational background is in philosophy, and I just started a master's program for data science and analytics.
Okay, so what got you into that?
I am obsessed with predicting things. So my favorite thing about it is that I can make predictions and then see how right or wrong I am. It is very satisfying.
Okay. Oh man, I'm already done. I'm already done here, but keep going. How were you as a kid? Like, how was life?
Um, I was pretty reserved. I've always kept to myself. Very imaginative child, I would say, but my family really was not very imaginative. So I spent a lot of time just kind of hiding out, doing my own thing internally.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really get along with, I guess, some of my family, would say. But I also wanted to avoid conflict, so just kind of stayed hiding out.
Okay. What do you think are your weaknesses?
I take a very long time to decide things. I'm not a very decisive person. I will agonize over a decision for days before coming to like what I think is the best solution. I get stuck in these like thought patterns where I consistently go over like every possible what if, every worst case scenario. And so it takes me a very long time to make sure that I'm making the right or correct decision, even if there really isn't like a right or wrong decision to make, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Shelly, why you texting me? I already fucking know. Oh, oh, that's not you, Shelly. Yeah, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Um, okay. How do you deal with people?
To be honest, sometimes I like to avoid people more than deal with them.
Hmm.
But I mean, I try to be very friendly and listen to their point of view, make sure that everyone is heard. I definitely, in my decision-making processes, I definitely try to consider all parties that might be involved in a decision
Hmm.
before coming to a conclusion. I do value equity and fairness. So, um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think I come off as very quiet to most people, so it's kind of hard to make friends easily.
Mhm.
Do you have any insecurities with your personality? Like, do you feel insecure about anything?
Um, like as in insecurities. Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I think for me, I have a very hard time. Like, if I know I don't have a popular opinion, I have a very hard time like expressing it, even if it's with people who want to know my like opinions and values. I think I just have a hard time. Um, I'm always worried that I'm gonna like upset someone or like offend them, I guess. It's kind of an insecurity. I just have a hard time being myself. If that makes sense.
Hmm. What's something that really triggers you that other people do?
I hate when people are like very stubborn in their opinion, like very closed-minded. It drives me crazy.
Really?
Like if they are not even willing to like consider an alternative point of view, it drives me up a wall. I have some friends, I love them dearly, but sometimes they're very stuck in like, oh, my way is the correct way of doing things.
Hmm.
No, you have not thought of every option.
And how often do you deal with that?
I mean, I try to argue back with them. It kind of depends on the person. some people are just so set in their ways that you just kind of I have to let it be. Like, okay, we can't have this conversation.
Mhm.
We'll agree to disagree, change the subject. But if I think someone will listen to argument or reason, I will try to give them reasons why, or like try to bring up, hey, have you thought about this? How does this fit in with your worldview or your opinion or your perspective? Sometimes that helps, and sometimes again, just, I have to like leave it be and close the
So,
chat, I guess.
so what got you into wanting to get a master's?
I mean, I've always considered myself a lifelong student. I really enjoy school. I've always been that person. I actually started a philosophy master's and realized halfway through that it wasn't for me, like teaching. I kind of hate academia.
Mhm.
So when my job actually, they offer tuition reimbursement program, and my manager really encouraged me to look into either certificates or like higher learning opportunities. I was like, oh yes, I need more skills, especially coming from not a science background. I've been finding it really beneficial to go through the master's program, kind of get more skills. Really helps with the job market, being marketable, those kind of things. So it's been great.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. What are 3 words your friends would use to describe you?
Hmm. I'd say smart. I get that one. People call me sweet. It depends on who knows me. And then I think people, I don't know, maybe intellectual. I think a lot of my friends really value the kind of
You say intellectual?
deeper conversations, yeah, that we have.
Is it smart and intellectual to a degree?
I guess so. Yeah, maybe that's the same thing.
Very closely.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna need something else.
maybe spiritual.
Spiritual. Okay.
I'm pretty religious. So
Okay. What do you think some people misunderstand about you?
I think a lot of people, at least what the feedback that I've heard from people, they don't really realize how deeply I've thought about things. So they are really surprised when I come at them with like facts and like a very detailed, like here's a logical, well thought out opinion about a topic.
Mm.
They're kind of thrown off by that. At least that's what I've heard from friends and stuff. They were not expecting me to have strong opinions about certain topics.
Mm. Mhm. Mm. Um, Shelly, anything?
Um, what gives you a sense of purpose in life?
Hmm.
That's, I think helping others is definitely up there. My job role right now, I work for a nonprofit. So I definitely feel like that is meaningful to support, and we provide a lot of medical aid for children and things like that. So I find that meaningful. Definitely my community and relationships, I would say, definitely gives me a lot of sense of purpose, feeling connected to others. I think for me also just my own personal internal journey, kind of I guess self-actualization, I could say. It's kind of how I got really interested in personality type and Carl Jung and those kind of things. So very big on self-development.
Okay. Um, so you say self-actualization. What does that mean for you?
I think just developing into like the best kind of person I could be. In college, I got really inspired by Aristotle and his work on excellence.
Uh-huh.
Like, what is a virtuous person? So to me, it's like being very virtuous. It's also just discovering the things that my own kind of internal strengths, I guess, and playing to those. It's also spiritual, I guess. Like in my faith, we have this idea that life is like a process of becoming more like God or more divinized, I guess you could say. So for me, it's kind of embracing all of those good qualities, those virtuous qualities. Like as you do that, you become more godlike. For me, I guess that's what self-actualization is like.
Okay.
It's very abstract. But...
Yeah. Sure. Agree with you there. I mean, I've always said like life to me is like a constant pursuit of chasing perfection.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
I mean,
Pursuit of excellence.
but I mean, it's never actually attainable, but it's a fun thing to chase.
Yeah. You can get close, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah. Hmm. Shirley, anything? I have no way.
How do you feel in social situations with people you don't know?
I feel very anxious. People comment about how quiet I am. I'm definitely one of those people who asks a lot of questions so that I don't have to talk. I do enjoy meeting new people. I'm actually okay at networking, especially at like job events and things like that. I do enjoy getting to know people, but I definitely struggle. I'd say after like 15, 20 minutes, I feel a lot more comfortable, but I'm definitely one of those people who right up to doing something, I want to cancel plans and not do anything.
Yeah. So what do you want to be remembered for? Like dead, gone, you're gone. What do you want to be remembered for?
I think I want to be remembered for my devotion to others,
You said what?
devotion to faith,
You said what?
devotion,
Devotion. Okay.
devotion to others, my relationships I made with people throughout my life. I think also I'd like to do something bigger, I guess. Either be remembered for some kind of writing, some written work, something like that. One of my dreams eventually is to do more research, like
Mm-hmm.
actual get published research, scientific research. I'd love to contribute to the kind of overall body of knowledge as well. It's definitely a stretch goal, but something that lasts beyond me, some kind of work leaves behind.
Yeah. So you talked about earlier, assess with like predicting things. How do you go about doing that?
Well, in data science, I guess there are specific methods that we use. A lot of it is you gather data and then you run statistical modeling. So it's a lot of probability theory building out that way. Usually it has to do with you have a lot of data from previous years, and then you kind of take all the averages of those and you run it through these models and they come up with predictions about what they think the future years will look like based on previous years. I guess for myself internally, I like to take in, if I'm just speculating, like for my own personal amusement, I will try to take in all of the kind of data that I know about a subject or a topic. And I will try to square that with what I think the current conditions look like and kind of where I see I guess if there are specific key indicators that might tell me where I think a path will go. For example, I think it was a couple months ago, I like to follow the markets and like economics and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was looking at some of the information that like the government releases about inflation data and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that plus my own sense of like, okay, grocery prices are still going up. Like, these things in the world are still going up. I think inflation is going to get worse in the next couple months. So I guess that's kind of how I do it. I mean, I try to look into the data if I have it, obviously. you don't always have data. Fine. I guess maybe other situations, like sometimes I have a sense that like a relationship's not gonna last or something like that. And I think that's almost, it's really hard for me to like say concretely why I will think that. I think it's just a bunch of like observed patterns and trends that I've picked up from like watching people interact and knowing things about their personal lives and stuff like that, that I'm like, oh, I don't think this is gonna work out. So I will predict or say like, yeah, I give it X amount of months, or usually I don't do that when it comes to people, but there are some relationships that I've observed. I'm like, oh no, this is not gonna last. And sure enough, it doesn't. Obviously, I'm not always right, but
Wow. Yeah. So what type of person do you look for?
like in a partner or in friendships,
Partner, friendships, because
I like people who I find interesting. So for me, it's, you know, if they're really into a cool topic, something like that. I have a lot of philosophy friends for that reason, a lot of scientific minded friends. I like a good debate if it's, you know, well, if it's in good faith, I guess. So I really enjoy when lively conversations happen. And I find that a lot of philosophy people and also law people really enjoy those kinds of conversations. I also, in relationships, I tend to look for someone who's very stable and grounded as well. And also someone I can have like good, stimulating, deep conversations with. I think also just a level of emotional maturity is really important too. Definitely people who are emotionally immature drive me crazy as well. So,
Man.
and I really appreciate my grounded friends because I am not necessarily a very grounded person. I'm all like way up here in my mind. So I appreciate people who can bring me back down to earth, back to reality.
Okay. What skills do you think separate you from other people?
Like as career wise, or
Yeah.
I think anybody in kind of data science and analytics can have technical skills. Obviously, you kind of need those. So I wouldn't say like programming or anything. I think my edge comes from my philosophy background. I studied analytic philosophy, which is very much about the formal logic behind things. So you have to actually really uh, reason out why you want to hold a certain position. And oddly enough, the language of formal logic is the basis of computer programming. So I think that helped me pick it up very quickly, for one thing. And I think it also helps me kind of eliminate and like whittle down certain possibilities of like certain hypotheses. Helps me kind of limit, okay. And I think it just gives me a good advantage when it comes to kind of communicating results as well. I can kind of argue for why I think this model or this interpretation of the data is correct. I think that really, I find that a lot of technical people struggle with that kind of presentation aspect. I think it helps me.
Okay. Shirley, anything?
If you could time travel to any period, what time would you go to? Past, future?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think I would like to time travel to maybe, I don't remember when, but whenever the Library of Alexandria was around. I want to see that. There's a lot of hidden knowledge we've lost. I'm very interested in those kind of esoteric ancient wisdoms that we've lost through time. I'd love the opportunity to explore that.
Ooh. Damn, I didn't mean to yawn. Just
You're
uh,
good. It's been a day, huh?
huh? No, just hungover. Um, okay. What does life mean to you?
What does life mean to me? No, that's a hard question to answer. I know, I'm tempted to say it just is.
Hmm.
I'm tempted to say it just is, like something that happens to us with or without our consent.
Well, I I guess. Okay. Well, what does success mean to you?
Success.
Mhm.
I guess to me it's all about personal fulfillment. I have a very internal sense of what success. I think to me it's doing something important, something that I value. To me, that'd probably be like contributing to knowledge, helping other people. And I think being remembered by others, even after I'm hopefully long gone.
Mhm.
That I think that means I would live a successful life if I'm remembered.
Okay. Okay. What is like a person that you think is very similar to yourself that's like a celebrity or something? Just curious.
That's a tough one.
Mhm.
I was, well, I'm tempted to say like Elon Musk before 2015, before he kind of got really controversial and crazy. But maybe he's always been controversial and crazy. I don't know. But it's someone who's kind of visionary. I
Mhm.
really admire people like Nassim Taleb. He's kind of a famous statistician.
Mhm.
I think maybe someone like Nassim Taleb. He wrote some pretty well-known books like Anti-Fragile. I think a lot of my mindset and kind of approach to kind of the more professional career life kind of comes from him. He has um he also is one of those people who, with his whole theory of black swans, he's all about identifying trends and patterns that people miss,
Mhm.
both in markets, but I think also just in general, like society and culture.
Mhm. And
Get better.
what's a piece of advice you would give to your younger self?
Probably to care less about what other people think, not be so worried about like keeping an image or trying to be well liked by a lot of people.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people in early in your life that you try to impress won't even be around in a few years, especially
Mhm.
like high school. Um,
Yeah, Shirley, we done.
Yeah, we've been done since we started, but okay.
Yeah. Okay. So it's very easy to tell that you're responding, so you're an introvert. Um, Also notice that you're very systematic. You have a systematic approach to things. You talk about the best way to do things. A lot of times, your data sequencing, pattern sequencing, looking at observing patterns and stuff like that. That's NE. Okay. You're talking about like you love making predictions. I would hit somebody, whoever says that is going to be a strong NI or NE user. Generally speaking, those are gonna be the people who love it. I love making predictions. I'm pretty sure Shelly does. Shelly, you love making predictions?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I love it
for
too.
sure.
So I would hit you for strong NI, NE there. You talked about the best solution, every possible what if scenario, okay, is the thing that you go through. And people are surprised when you hit them with the data because you really deeply think through things. So I'm gonna say, and you weigh every option. So you're trying to get the best available option there. So that's outcome. You're searching for the best outcome. You want to put you want to take the card. You don't want to put. You want to measure twice and cut once. Okay, that's your whole idea. Like
Yep.
you ain't about like fuck around and figure out. You're like, no, 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 no. I gotta measure twice, cut once, do this one time. So that's usually background type outcome. Um, in your TIFE user, you're valuing a community, relationships, connecting to people. Um, so yeah, and it's very easy to see that you're a TI user. You could just see how it plays out. Very dominant in your life. When asked about a celebrity that you identify with, you grabbed another INTP. So yeah, we have you down as an INTP, and we knew early on.
Okay, interesting.
What'd you type yourself as?
When I take tests, I usually type as INTJ or INFJ.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's maybe about the function stack. It's so weird because usually when I take those functions, the ones that have the sliding scale, NI is always the highest.
mhm. Well, the
Function.
INTP usually scores pretty high in NI because they have NI in the sixth spot, which is the critic, right?
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
So the critic is a very strong function, just like the parent function, right? They're usually around equal strengths. Um, so and then you'd have TI. So um, plus you're also very informative, okay, um, as well. As an INFJ and the INTJ are very direct, specific, concise, to the point, and they're not outcome focused. They be about like the progression of life or whatever. But yeah, we got you down as an INTP. You got any questions?
I guess it's more of a general question. I hear some debate in the typing community about like typing based on visual appearance and things like
Mhm.
that. Does that ever factor in your like analysis, or do you
No,
kind of not believe
no.
in
I
it?
mean, it does factor in, like, it never factors in how I'm going to type somebody, right?
For
Um,
sure.
because I'm always going to go off what they say, right? Um,
Yeah.
that's just the proof there. Um, but you can see an observable pattern between certain people and certain types. They'll generally look a certain type of way or a certain look. Like, and if you see somebody and you observe, like, this person has this type and this person looks like that, generally speaking, they usually will have the same personality type. A famous one I would say is Maggot Robbie and Jamie Presley. They look like twins.
Mm.
Let me see. I can. Let me go. Give me a second here. Let me pull it up. Damn, there's so much shit in here. Okay. Give me 1 second, Robbie. Let's go. Okay, can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, so
Oh, wow.
yeah. So
They're like twins.
yeah. Yeah. They're both two INTJs. You can see that pretty well,
Mm.
right? They look visually like the same person, right? Two INTJs, right? So generally speaking, if you get someone of the same type, generally speaking, sometimes they can look very much like each other. I
Okay.
think we have like a theory that like maybe souls manifest similarly and configure the
Mm.
body similarly. So like you probably have a clone out there that looks like you and probably have the same type as yourself, generally speaking.
Okay.
So
Like a dark matter
you
version.
if
Okay.
you typed enough people, then you can use that to be quicker at typing someone. But when people come here, we're always going to make sure we go through our system here because we actually care about being right. And there is a possibility that, of visual typing that it could be wrong, but that's why we always follow our system here. Okay.
For
Hope that
sure.
answers your questions.
Yep. Makes sense.
Yeah. Anything else?
I think that's it for me.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure. Hope to see you in
I
the
think you explained it
community.
pretty well, the difference. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Are you in the Discord or are you in the Facebook group? Discord,
On
Facebook?
Discord.
Okay. Well, I will make a message.
Yeah. All
All right.
right. Cool.
Thank you. Have a pleasure. It was a pleasure. All right,
Thanks.
Shelly. See you in
See
30
ya.
minutes.
Okay.
Bye.
All right, bye.